Hi, I'm Brad Sweezy, Vice President and co-founder of PR for Lawyers, producing results for lawyers. And today I want to talk to you about getting to know your Facebook audience and also a little bit more in general about Facebook and social media. Okay, so let's get on to it. Why do you need a Facebook strategy? Well, as I'm going to show you, law firms don't get a lot of business from Facebook. They don't. Now, I've even seen law firms now going on places like TikTok and Instagram, et cetera. And if you look at those, very rarely are you going to get anybody of consequence looking at it at all, besides the employees of the law firm, et cetera. But if you're going to do it, and most of the time clients do it, but it's an addition to what they're already doing. So you're taking something else like a vlog or a blog, and then you're splicing it up and putting it on Facebook. Okay. Why do you need a strategy? Just like anything else, you need a plan of attack to be successful at it. And you also have to start with what's your objective. You know, every strategic plan should have an objective. So if your objective is, hey, I want to reach out to new business, then you're going to do one thing. If your objective is, I want to keep in touch with people who I've already done business with your law firm, then that's great. If you want to help your employees feel better, then that's another strategy. So you can do all those types of things, but you just go in with the right expectation. You're not going to get a huge amount of business from Facebook. You're not in social media. I've seen countless law firms across the country. I'm very often the only one who likes anything they post. So just keep in mind and have the right expectations when it comes to it. You know, the first tip is keep your content appropriate, fresh, and error-free. You know, always think about, going back to the strategy, who might be looking at it. Make sure it's appropriate. Maybe you have one political leaning over the other and, you know, you like to put things on there. Well, just remember, while that may make a lot of your people who believe the same way as you do happy, it might also turn off other people who otherwise might use you. You know, you want it to be reasonably fresh, right? You don't have to be in touch with everything that's going on by the minute, but you do want to take into account what's going on in the world and make sure when you're posting it, it's appropriate. And the other thing is make sure it's error-free. You know, it's very easy to put something on there, and I know if I've read this thing 100 times, I'm going to miss an error that many of you are going to tell me about. You know, that's the one thing I like about dealing with lawyers. You're very good at reading things and spotting those things out, spotting those things and letting us know about that. So do your best. It's never going to be completely error-free, but do your best to make it error-free. Tip number 2 is segmenting your audience. That's perhaps the most important thing you can do. Now, how do you define your audience? Well, a lot of you are going to do social media and you're going to do social media ads, but you want to define your audience appropriately. You don't want to waste ad spend in Facebook by targeting people who aren't likely going to use your service. You know, yeah, there might be a 20-year-old who's got a 80-year-old grandpa or great grandparent, maybe, who's thinking about doing estate planning, et cetera. But chances are you marketing the 20-year-old is not really going to help you. So define your audience. And there's so many different parameters how you can define your audience on Facebook. You want to spend the time to do that. And people like us can help you segment that audience. You can even upload your current clients to Facebook, or your current prospects or current COIs, et cetera. And Facebook will develop a custom audience based on that. They won't tell you who has the Facebook accounts because that's their proprietary information that they want to use to get you to spend money with them. But you can segment your audience just like you should do with everything else. Segment, segment, segment. If you do that, you're going to find a much more effective campaign. And that goes along with tracking ads properly. You really have to have campaign tracking when you're doing it. You want to always look at your audience and go, who's responding best to this particular message? Maybe one campaign got a huge number of people who inquired about your thing, but then when you followed up with them, they didn't go. Maybe you decided to do a webinar, especially during COVID. I know a lot of elder care law attorneys did webinars, et cetera. They got a lot of people who responded on Facebook, but they didn't get a lot of those people to show up at the webinar. So you have to track your campaigns to go, is this really the most effective way or not? So that's one thing. But I want to show you just an example here. I just picked a law firm in Montana. We don't do any marketing in Montana at all. So that's why I found a law firm in Montana. I Googled the law firms in Montana and I got Silverman Law Office. So, you know, they say wills, trust, you know, all this stuff. You can read it here. But now look at what they're posting and also look at the number of people who are liking. 6 people like this post, 0 people like this, 3 people like this, 1 person like this, 1 person, 2 people, you know, 1, 4, etc. So it's not a huge amount of people who are responding to these things. So if this was their sole way of going about doing business, this might not work out for them to do. But what I would do is something along the lines, if these were my clients, and maybe I'll contact them, is, all right, they're helping a business get sold. All right. So what I would do for this is I would stratify and develop an audience that is people who are likely to be looking for a business. That's what I would do, you know, or buying a business. They have, you know, good credit. If you can't really segment for that anymore on Facebook, but find people who are more likely to be entrepreneurial and fit a profile so that I would send an ad to those people. That's what I would do if I was using social media. But otherwise, don't spend a lot of time and energy on this, because it's unless you have somebody doing it as part of a package like we do, then it's just rolled right in there and you just boom, 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 boom. But if you're just going, I'm going to pay somebody separately just to do social media, I'm sorry, the return's not there. It just isn't. So keep that into account. So do it properly and have the right expectations and you'll be happy. You know, you got it, 413 people like this, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, as a law firm, you want more clients and more clients who are wanting to use you more and more, et cetera, and are going to refer you to others. So they have an Instagram page. So let's take a look at that. I can log into there and I'll follow them. Okay. And post, here's some posts. Let's see, 16 people, 14, 6, 7, 15, 19, nobody, 4, etc. So hopefully they're not paying too much for this because it's not producing a lot of the results they need. So let me go back to our presentation view here and finish this up. In review, always keep your content appropriate, fresh, and error-free. Segment your audience, segment it again, always segment, because you know, you're probably familiar with the 80-20 principle. You know, 20% of your clients will produce 80% of your revenue, et cetera. So the more you can segment and find that 20%, the better off you're going to be. And track ads properly. We track everything. You know, when we do marketing for attorneys, we track everything because we want to know what's working and what's not working. And what's working, we do more of, and what's not working, we do less of. That's the bottom line. And we will always take that approach to everything. We won't just spend money to spend money, because it's ultimately, it's your money. It's your business. It's your law practice. You want to make sure you're getting as big a return as you can on your investment. And as you go on and longer, you get better and better at it. But if you're the type who's just going to do it once or a month or two, you're probably not the right type of client for us, because it takes a little bit of time to get things right for your particular law firm and your particular target audience. Not every law firm is the same. Not every audience is the same. So you can't do things the same way categorically. You have to adjust for each one. So if you're interested in a free consultation or just to talk to me, email me. You can go to the website. You can call me. Pretty much, you can call me 7 days a week. I know that most lawyers don't get to doing some of the things they want to do until the weekend. So you can call me. I've had attorneys call me on the weekend. If I'm at the gym on the weekend, I'll probably pick up. Okay, so thank you and have a good day or evening whenever you're seeing this.